Hi, everyone. Kate Byars. We are broadcasting live today, and today's topic is how to stop surviving your executive career and really start thriving as an executive. And I wanted to welcome everyone to these live broadcasts. And if you are watching it live right now, give a thumbs up, say hello, put in the comments where you're from or maybe what it is that you do. And a lot of what we're going to be talking about today, it does pertain to executive women, women who are in leadership positions, women who are in high stress, high achieving careers. But there's also a lot to be gained here for any working woman. So I just want to invite everyone to kind of settle in, grab a cup of coffee if it's morning time where you're at, grab lunch if it's lunchtime where you're at. And let's get some good conversation going because this is an important topic. And I think way too many of us women are juggling so much and we are surviving and we are not thriving in our career. I also want to say if you have questions, I'm broadcasting through Zoom, but I believe I can see if you have any questions. So feel free to also put questions in the comments, even if you are watching this broadcast after it's already recorded. It will ping me and then I will know and I can come back in and respond, okay? So again, welcome. My name is Kathleen Byars. I am the founder of Corporate Women Unleashed, where we help high achieving women really create sublime balance in their life. We teach you how to control and navigate that high performing career so you can prioritize your life and start enjoying the success you've worked so hard for. Okay, so let's dig into our topic. How do we stop surviving and start thriving? And I'm excited about this topic for a couple of reasons. We talk a lot about balance, work-life balance, which is a bit of a generic topic, and balance means different things to different people. And what we're talking about today is excelling, okay? We're not talking about balance. Yes, it's balance. How can I prioritize my personal life without giving up my career? So there is an element of balance, but I really want to talk about excelling, and I've got a couple notes here, so excuse me if I look away, but I don't want to go off on a tangent. So the first thing I want all of you to really come to grips with is if you are a high achieving woman, if you are designed or, you know, it's in your DNA to want to excel, and you really enjoy your work and you enjoy that challenging environment that you're working in, you are in really an elevated playing field at this point in your career. Most of the women that we talk with, that I talk with, that we work with our clients, they're, 8 years, 10 years, 15, 20 plus years into their career. And, when you are playing at that level of being someone in a leadership position, whether you're a manager, senior manager, or even in the C-suite, you're playing in an elevated environment, right? And with that elevated environment comes stress, comes expectations, comes a lot more multitasking. Sometimes you're asked to be strategic while you're being tactical and things like that. And that can really create, feeling like we're stretched in so many different ways. And if you've heard some of my other broadcasts, we always talk about the psychology of a high achiever. High achievers have a hard time walking away from work to unplug. So I want you to stop thinking about like, oh, I have to walk away. I have to simplify. I have to give up. Because quite frankly, if that's how you see balancing your life and prioritizing your personal life as something that you're having to give up to get, that's not very enjoyable. No one's going to do that, right? So let's start rewiring your brain. And what we want to talk about is, how to elevate your game, okay, in all areas of life. Like a lot of the women we work with, they're like, Kate, I'm uber successful at work. I got that down. It's the personal life where I'm failing. And that's how I felt for so long, where I felt like I was dialing in one area, like, okay, great. We get the promotion, we get the good project kind of finished. And yes, and there's accolades for that and there's rewards for that, or just that sense of like job well done. But then meanwhile, I'd been coming home for 6 weeks or 6 months, yelling at my daughter, not having a lot of patience with her, a lot of babysitters, nannies, feeling like I was failing in motherhood or feeling like I was failing my relationships. I was a single mom when I first was going through the executive ranks. And so I just felt lonely a lot because I was like, I don't have any time to date. So there was just there was never this sense of feeling like I'm really achieving this wonderful life of success where I have, wonderful relationships, fantastic motherhood. I was always overweight. And so it was like, oh, my weight was always out of control. And I have dialed in this fantastic career. So how do you get this all dialed in and really excel? So one of the first things you have to understand is that almost like a professional athlete, you are playing in an environment where you have to wire yourself to avoid burnout. Okay. And what happens, almost like when you first start performing as an athlete, like if you can imagine, I was never an athlete, but you're going to be very focused on becoming good at your trait, right? So whatever, you're a skier, you're a basketball player, you're a dancer, you're going to spend years and years and years honing your skill. Okay. And so if you're an executive at this point, you've done that. You have honed your skill. And what you really are missing now is you're still honing. You're still feeling like it's not good enough, right? And so it's like work demands. And so you need to relax a little bit and say, wait, the way I hone my skill now, the way I excel in the office is by becoming a more well-rounded person, by meeting my needs at a really effective and efficient level and just getting better at you being me versus I got to work harder, push. So what happens is what we've all learned because of our society and because of our careers and the expectations we think are on us is we've learned to like climb the hill and then we crash. And that could be on a weekly basis, right? Like work, 80 hours Monday through Friday, crash on the weekend. It could be a project, where you're working 6 months, 3 months, whatever it is. You do these huge sprints and we put our life on the side. We put our health on the side. We put our spouses on the side, our kids, like everybody, I used to call it, puts on the shelf. Everybody just sit there on the shelf. And if I could freeze time, I'll be back in 6 months when this project's over, right? And so everything else is on hold, including yourself and your own mental health. And then after the project over, this 3-month sprint, the 6-month sprint, the big business trip, then you come back to it. Okay, and you have to stop doing that. Okay, high performers are going to burn out. That is going to lead you to burnout. What you have to be doing is recognizing that when you keep yourself performing in an optimal state, now you're going to be able to excel in all these different areas of your life. And this took me, I just didn't understand this forever. I just kept pushing, failing, failing. I don't know, I'd start running and I would lose 10 pounds and it'd be like, great for like 90 days. And then boom, I'd be back at, the donut bar after some like stressful event at work or sloshing down red wine at night and stuff. And so I didn't understand that I really needed to approach my career at this point as someone who was working in a high level environment and I needed to keep myself operating at a high level. And this is really tough for women because as women, we don't put ourselves first ever, right? It just feels good. As a high achiever, you're wired. It feels good to be doing all the work and be in that adrenaline rush, but you've got to sort of turn the tables now. You really have to and say like, wait a minute, I have to wire myself differently. I've got to change what's going on up here in my mental game, and I have to change how I'm approaching my needs. So you have to put yourself, I don't want to say first because that's too structured. You have to prioritize yourself. Okay. And that's going to mean different things on different days of the week, at different times of the year, at different stages in your life. But what you have to be saying is, how can I be the optimal me? How can I excel at being me? And there's 3 or 4 areas where we find where women are falling short. And it's pretty easy to correct these areas. But let me back up before I tell you about that. What I want to introduce you to is really the science of human behavior. So what we are not taught when you're younger, and this has always been with us, but the science is just now catching up with sort of the trends in society. And it's only been about 20 years that people are really looking at science to help us build and live better lives. But in the science of human behavior, we have 7 human needs, okay? Physiological and psychological. And those don't change. We all have them. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what country you live in. I don't care if you're a guy, if you're a girl, if you're a kid. We all have these 7 needs, and you can choose to ignore them. You probably didn't know about them, but you can choose to ignore them once I tell you about them, but you cannot choose not to have them. Okay, so inside your body at all times, your body is demanding that you meet these needs to some level. Okay, and so I want to talk about 4 of the 7 today. The first one I want to talk about is where we see executive women burning out is they have no autonomy. Autonomy is freedom, right? And what is success? What is our career? What is our life about if you don't have freedom, right? There's no fulfillment in it. Just doesn't lead to a well-lived life when we feel like we're in this gilded cage and we're constantly trapped by a career, right? It feels like a trap. And in the beginning, it didn't, because it met your needs. When you were 22 or 28 or 32, whatever, it was meeting your needs probably a lot better at that point. And you also had less going on in your life. Maybe you weren't married then. Maybe you didn't have kids. Maybe you didn't have aging parents. Maybe you didn't have some of the financial things, whatever. So now as we age and as we climb up the ladder and we have more pressure on us, we lose a lot of autonomy, but we allow this to happen. Okay. And I always say corporations don't make cages, we do. And if you don't know how to navigate your career empowered and navigate your career to be an influencer, then what happens is you lose autonomy because you're constantly at the whim of the corporation, of the next assignment, of the leadership team dropping some bomb on you, the board of directors dropping a bomb, the stockholders, all that type of stuff. And so what happens is we think we have no options but to work and to lean in and do more. And we're not seeing ourselves as actual participants in this career we have. We're victims to this career. And so you have to have autonomy. And there's so many ways to create autonomy for yourself. Okay. So autonomy is the need. And then you have, just think of like, if this is the need, there's like boom, 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 thousands of strategies for autonomy. I mean, Viktor Frankl found autonomy as a Holocaust victim. Like, I think we can figure this out. So what you're looking for is, how can I have some freedom each day? How can I have some freedom of thought, freedom of choice, doing something for me? Okay. This could take 10 minutes. This could take 3 hours. It doesn't have to be, let me work. And if everything works out okay, and the kids go to bed on time, and my husband goes fishing with his friends, and I get this assignment done, and the dog doesn't need to go to the vet, on Saturday, I'll have a cup of coffee. Like, that's what we do. You have to stop putting things off for tomorrow and live in the moment. So what can you do for autonomy, for freedom? You know, it could be, I don't know, instead of talking to your assistant on the phone during your commute, maybe you listen to some cool music from the 90s or something that you loved. I don't know. It could be saying no to a meeting and saying, no, I'm going to get something done. I'm not, you guys don't need me. I mean, and so what I'm saying is, it's not about the right strategy. Everybody's looking for like the one thing. What's the one thing I could do? It's really about trying different strategies and seeing what works. And what will happen in a fairly relatively quickly period of time, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, is you'll just start to feel lighter. You'll just start to feel more in control. And you haven't changed anything. You could still be working 70 hours a week. We have women who are working 70, 80, 90 hours a week. And we're teaching them these strategies and to understand their own human behavior, so they are thriving within a very intense environment versus, I'm going to hold my breath until the intensity and then I can go take a break. Does that make sense? Okay. So if this is kind of making sense, or just, put a comment, say hello, do something just so I know you guys are like getting this, or if not, let me know and we'll respond. So autonomy is one of the ones that we find is one of the big ones that drives a lot of burnout. And this is why you may be thinking, oh, I just need a month off. I just need to go live on an island for a while. I just need to go stay home and just pet the dog because your autonomy needs aren't getting met and you're not aware of it and you're not servicing that need. So you have to find different ways to service it. The next need that we find that's not getting met when you work in a really intense environment and you're performing at this high intensity level is your need for connection. Now, you're getting your connection needs met, but it may not be at the most effective level. Like, you may be connecting with your team, you may be connecting with your boss, and you may love your colleagues and your leadership team, and all this is great, but we have other areas of connection too. It may be a spouse, maybe your marriage is like, okay, I have a good marriage, but it's not great. I never see my husband, or when we do see each other, we're just like, doing the calendar thing, who's picking up who and who's getting the groceries or whatever. And so when your marriage has slipped into that sort of, we're more business partners or life partners versus like lovers and having fun and really like co-parenting and feeling super supportive, that need is not getting met and it's dipping, and it's going to start bringing down your physiology and psychology. And the more, I want you to think of all these 7 needs, they all are interwoven and they're pressing on you at one time. It's not like you go from this bucket to this bucket to this bucket to this bucket. You've really got to flow in between them and get these met a little bit each day. And so what's happening is if you don't really have a high quality relationship right now in your marriage, that's going to be dragging you down. That's why you're going to be holding on to weight, feeling more stressed, going more towards burnout. And what happens is we get so focused on the career, got to fix the career, got to fix the career, got to fix the career. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Mindy. Hello. Is that we're too focused on the thing that really isn't the issue. The issue is the human needs. The issue is not necessarily the career. It could be a piece, but it could also be your marriage. Maybe you should have no time for your marriage. And again, the marriage is on the shelf for that someday moment when you guys retire and can hopefully fix it all. Like, that's not joyful. We got to live today. And so what I want you to know is that when you put those things off, it drags everything down. It's not just a marriage relationship or the parenthood or your physical relationship, whatever, everything. You're not going to be performing as well at work. You're not going to be performing well in these other areas of your life because your needs aren't getting met. So connection needs connection with kids. Same thing. If the connection with kids is, I came home tonight and I was expecting, to come home early and we were going to have this joyous moment around the dinner table and we finally cooked dinner and, we set up, if you're a high achiever, you set the bar pretty high, right? And you set this big expectation and then the kids have had a bad day. They're running around like drawing on the ceiling and jumping off, the back of the couch, all the stuff that kids are prone to do. They're melting down. They're having some drama. The whole thing just goes to hell in a handbasket. And that one just precious moment where we have put all of like, oh God, this is the connection moment, just falls apart, right? And so what we have to learn in this situation is a couple things. One is that connecting with our children doesn't always mean happy time. Connecting with our children means having the willpower, the empathy, and the patience to be there for them in whatever state they're in. And what happens again is when you are performing at these really high levels, if you're giving everything at work and you're not understanding how to really thrive across all these needs, you've got nothing left. So your family gets the worst of you, right? And this is when you come home and just be like, everybody shut up, go to your room. Or, and then you're like, here we go again. Why am I that mom? Now I'm mommy dearest. So if you're filling in these needs and giving them energy, all throughout the day, all throughout the week, all throughout the month, all throughout the year, now we're performing at optimal levels. So when we come home and we have this dinner and it doesn't turn out the way we wanted it to, we're not screaming and going crazy. We're just like, okay, great. So who I need to be as a mom today is not fun Betty Crocker. I need to be empathetic, caring, strong shoulder to cry on, curious, really bring up that emotional intelligence and be able to give that to my children. Okay. And what happens is instead of feeling like, oh, shucks, there went the fun, evening, you feel great. You feel like I have mothered well today. I mean, it's actually, again, going to help you fulfill your needs at a higher level. Okay. So we've talked about autonomy. We've talked about connection. I just want to watch the time here. The next one I want to talk about is, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about health because, now let's talk about leisure first. So leisure is the other one that is like, when we do needs mapping with our clients, it's like they kind of get everything figured out. Like, okay, these are more optimal ways I can meet my needs. And they come up with some strategies. And then leisure is like blank. It's just like blank. And I totally get it. And I'm only laughing because it's so tragic for us women. I was the same way for so long. I mean, I would have like an hour to myself and I'd be like, this was before social media. I mean, now I would just doink around on social media, but I was just like, I don't know what to do. It was just like unnerving. Like I just didn't know how to sit still. I'm not a bubble bath kind of a gal. Like, what do I do with an hour to myself? But it's so critical that we have leisure time. You have to rest, right? Like you are a top performing athlete. What do athletes do? They rest. Where do they become stronger? In the resting state. Where do they get the energy to come back and hit it hard the next day or the next workout? They rest. They're resting in between all of their intense sessions. And what's happening with executive women and these high, all of us high achieving women, forget high achieving, any woman, we're not resting. We are not resting. It's like we get home and then there's dinner and then there's the laundry and then there's the homework and then there's the report that you forgot to do and the 3,000 emails and it's, okay, just blah. You have to stop and you've got to give yourself rest. And I don't care if it's 10 minutes a day, if it's 15 minutes a day, if it's 30 minutes a day, if it's 5 minutes one day and it's an hour the next day. You have to create rest in your life. You have to create it. It could be in the middle of the day after an intense meeting. You walk downstairs and just go sit on a bench outside in the sun, get some vitamin D, listen to the birds, 10 minutes. Okay. Even though that's maybe not as much as we would like, and it's not as fulfilling as going to ceramics class with the girls, which would be a lot more fun. It is something that your body will hold on to and it needs. And so again, what I'm teaching you is the science behind well-being, not the socially acceptable, oh, what's that one thing I could do to make my life go right? Is it yoga? Is it, meditation? Do I need to work out more? I mean, it's this. It's just recognizing that you have all these, hi Liz, hey Livingston. It's recognizing that you have these needs that are pressing on you and they need attention. And again, so far, we have not changed your job. We've not changed your boss. We haven't changed the pressure. We haven't changed the hours you're working. We have not changed your husband, kids, dog, cat, or anything else. We are changing you, okay? You are the one that has to optimize first. And I always say, like, women, we got to put our oxygen mask on, right? Like, if the plane feels like it's going down and you're burning out, or you're just living a compromised life, it's like, if you're going to work this hard, you want to enjoy your good life, then you really have to be optimizing your needs. So you've got to get the leisure in. So we've talked about autonomy, we talked about connections, and then we talked about leisure. The fourth one that we need to talk about is health. Now, when most women talk to me, the very first thing they do is health. Oh, Kate, I've gained 25 pounds. Oh, I haven't gone to the doctor in years, or I feel like such a schmuck because, I should be exercising more, cooking more home cooked meals. And we put so much negativity into health. We just beat ourselves up about it. And I tell you what, when you are doing these other things, health just comes along for the ride. And so what we do when we're working with our clients, we said, let's just put health on the back burner for a little bit longer. We're not going to leave it there, but let's get you having autonomy again. Let's have you having leisure again. Let's get your connection needs up. And when those three are operating at an improved level, then you're going to find the energy, the spirit, the desire, and just start sleeping better. You'll stop grinding your teeth. The pounds will stop coming off, because what happens in health is we use food, and we use lack of sleep. We use being a couch potato. We use all these, negative sort of things to our health to nurture ourselves. And so what's happening is when you feel like you're working in a gilded cage and you feel trapped, all of a sudden you'll just get mad, you'll get frustrated, or you'll have some emotional reaction. You may not even realize it, and just be like, oh, I'm just going to stop at the ice cream store on the way home and have a double scoop. It's been such a rough day. I deserve it. And you may not even be having that conversation in your mind, but that's what happens, right? And because we're not recognizing that our needs aren't getting met. And so we're going to get our autonomy needs met through an ice cream scoop. We're going to get our leisure needs met through that ice cream scoop. We're going to get our connection needs met by saying, kids, forget dinner tonight. We're all going to the pizza place, and then we're going to have ice cream afterwards. And so we tend to Band-Aid these needs that we're not even aware we have. And we try to get them met through food and through nurturing ourselves through food, or I'll work out tomorrow. It's been such a rough day. I just want to hit the couch. Because it feels good. There's freedom in that. There's autonomy in that. And we're kind of nurturing ourselves, giving ourselves leisure. And so when you start to bring up how you optimize these other needs and get more efficient and effective at that, all of a sudden the health piece will start to fall into place better. And I also tell, women that it doesn't always have to be, 7 hours a day at the country club playing tennis to get your health back. I mean, that was fine. Maybe you did that, 5 years ago, but it could just be running 10 minutes in that direction and 10 minutes back. I did that once for like 12 weeks. I was like, because I don't like running. And now I do, but I didn't back then. And I'd run 10 minutes in one direction and 10 minutes when I got back. Right when I came home, my daughter would be like, I need to talk to you. And the dog needed to go out and everybody needs something. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go 10 minutes in that direction and 10 minutes back. And I just made this really simple little workout. It was like tennis shoes. Sometimes I would even run in just like whatever I had on. It could be pajamas. I didn't care. I was like 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And I did that for like 12 weeks, and usually every day, not always every day. And by the end of 12 weeks, like I had friends going, wow, you've been working out, or, I was losing weight. I was gaining muscle tone. I didn't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger for sure. But again, when you talk about optimizing yourself and becoming more optimal in how you operate in your life and are finding success in different areas, I was finding success. That was a lot better than being a couch potato, right? And I was losing weight, and I was feeling stronger, and my physiology and my psychology felt good, right? And that's what we want you to achieve. So I want you to realize that, there is a science to having success in different areas of your life. It is not all coming from looking for that magic external cure. The science is inside of you. It resides in your human behavior. And if you really want to perform better in all areas of your life, if you want to show up for your kids to be patient and empathetic and kind and loving and fun at the end of the night, then you have to put this into play. If you want to be more than a business partner with your husband, and you want to be fun, you want to be romantic, and you want to be available and energetic, how often do you get a call from your husband midday and he's just like, hey, you want to, do the horizontal mambo tonight? And at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that always sounds good, right? At 9 o'clock at night, forget it. So if you want to have enough energy left over for your husband, so you can really, nurture your marriage, other than, not just in physical ways, but in all ways, you want to be optimizing yourself in these different areas. If you want to have, clarity of decision making, make quick decision makings that you're confident in the office, especially when you're being hit by so many different scary sort of decisions, or big decisions that have a lot of implications. Then you have to be working in an optimal state. Right? Once we start working in a suboptimal state, we start working in we have a compromised life to go home to, then you're going to start having a compromised life in the office. Even when you think, oh no, I've got this, I can work till midnight every night. You really can't. And other people are going to start seeing that around you. And you are also creating behaviors in others who are going to be reacting to you in a way that's going to keep you in that suboptimal state. So when you're in an optimal state, it allows others to react to you differently. And now you start navigating your career as an influencer versus as a survivor. All right, so I'm going to wrap it because we've been talking for about 30 minutes. But if anyone has questions, again, just leave it in the comments. Also share this. So you can tag another woman who you think, wow, she might need to hear this. This could be helpful. Just put her name in the comment and that'll tag her and she'll get a notice for the video. And that way she can come back and watch it, when she gets off work or at some other time. And I just want to thank you guys for being here. If there's anyone out there who is a high achiever, who has got this wonderful life and you're wondering, why am I not enjoying it? Don't feel guilty about that. Don't beat yourself up about that. We all can relate to that. Life is not about living a compromised existence. It's not about surviving. It is about thriving. And when you learn to navigate your career differently, and when you learn to optimize yourself and understand the science, you really can have a beautifully balanced life in all different areas and just flow. You just flow. If you look at any of the testimonials on our site, most of the women say like, wow, life's just easy now. And that's the way it should be. It should be easy and it should be fun. So I wish you guys all the best. Thank you for tuning in. And I will see you Friday for our next broadcast. So tune in again. Bye, guys.